This course has been authored by a qualified expert and is delivered in a self-paced format. It's been designed to help you accelerate the mastery and retention of the concepts and skills using a structured learning plan, interactive content, knowledge checks, access to live support, and much more.
Hey there, you're watching lesson 1.1. So welcome to the course. This is Learn Python Django from scratch. My name is James Kerrigan. I'm going to be your instructor for this course, and we're going to learn a lot about Django and hopefully have a lot of fun. If you've not taken a course like this before, I've broken it out into a variety of sections and lessons so that we'll kind of start with some basics, ramp up a little bit. Every time we'll always be doing something practical. We'll always be kind of learning as we go. It's definitely a little heavier at the start because there are a lot of foundational concepts to really cement in, a lot of long videos, and then it really tapers off at the end. In fact, surprisingly so. I think you'll be a little shocked at just how fast you can bang out some fairly robust functionality with very little code once you've got both the know-how and some of the scaffolding in place, like we already have some views created, that kind of thing. So I've been a Django developer for a number of years, and same with Python, and I really like it. I've used it since migrations weren't built in, which wasn't actually that long ago, but it's definitely evolved a lot over the years, and I really love using it. I think it's pretty powerful, and especially coming from something like a PHP background, because that's more or less was my first real programming language that I professionally worked with. It makes a big difference in terms of things like Python itself being a good language, and also Django being well thought out, and especially now that we're on version 1.8, so much is built in. Things like having automatic migrations and just having it be really dead simple, so that things like, say, managing the database in this sense, or using the Django ORM, means that you're not spending so much time kind of administrating stuff as you are getting work done. And I think that's important in order to progress. You still want to learn the fundamentals, learn the basics, and make sure you understand what it's doing. But mostly I think in these days, that really means just not being afraid to ask questions, Google a lot, look up anything that you don't know, always be willing to learn. Those are kind of the most important things. So in terms of prerequisites or requirements, it's expected that you're going to have at least kind of a beginning to intermediate level knowledge of Python, if by even the first section, the first real section, section 2. If you still don't really understand some of the stuff that's going on there, you might want to brush up on your Python a little bit. And then, I mean, even if you don't understand all that much and you think it's kind of a struggle, just keep going and stop at the point where you don't feel like you're really getting use out of the time. And then, you know, like I said, maybe look up some more Python stuff. I'll have some resources at the very end. And make sure that when you come back to it, you feel like you're going to get something done. Because I know that it is frustrating to especially to be just banging out code and you don't know what it's doing. So do be sure and make sure that when you're stepping into it, that you feel like you've got a solid base in terms of skills, and you aren't just going to get left by the wayside. So other things are, I've designed this so that this should be multi-platform. There shouldn't really be any platform issues for the most part. I'll mention them if they are. This is going to be based on Python 2.7, not Python 3. I thought long and hard about that, but at the end of the day, I think that the fact that most operating systems, whether you're using a Mac or even Windows, and a lot of the modules and stuff that you'll find, a lot of the online literature that you'll find is still Python 2 based. I don't want anyone to get tripped up trying to go between Python 3 and 2. Python 2, at the very least, the install base is way wider. And again, if you're using Linux, if you're using Mac OS, you have Python 2 built in, probably 2.7. But make sure that it is 2.7 because it's very important in terms of things like, I think Django now, at least as of 1.8, the minimum version of Python that they support is 2.7. So you will need Python 2.7 no matter what. And we're going to use virtual M's, but I'll go over that if you haven't seen that before. Pretty much everything else, I mean, you'll be well served by a base of general HTTP knowledge. So if you know about the web, about internet concepts, that'll help a lot. And again, anything you don't know, just look up. I'm sure that if you're at this point, you've at least been exposed to it, so it should come pretty natural.
Enroll now for lifetime access to this course, a certificate of completion, and access to live support whenever you need it.